Heavyweight WBC champion Tyson Fury shames Anthony Joshua, says he's not a factor, he's not dangerous, he's more like a cuddly baby. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Listen, head over to Patreon. I revamped it. We did a major overhaul, and I'm getting that cracking. Join the Patreon family, Extended, Ego's Army, Boxing La Familia, and some of y'all ain't looking familiar. I got some stuff for y'all. You can go to Patreon or hit the join button and become a YouTube channel member. They're really going to have the same perks and just different content, early access, things like that I've been working on behind the scenes. Great way to support the channel. Another great way to support the channel is click the link in the description. You'll see a section for affiliate links. Join and become an ESPN Plus member subscriber. Get the ESPN Plus bundle. It includes ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three of these apps for one price, $12.99 a month. I personally have all three of the apps, tons of content. While people are locked down, it's a great option for you to get three apps for the price, of one app, depending on the app. So I think it's definitely great value, and it'll probably help you get through this quarantine. And it does help the channel when you guys click on that link as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, Now, Tyson Fury, he says his focus is on his family during this pandemic. And in this interview, he said some interesting things about Joshua. Says Tyson Fury's team might be hard at work trying to make a 2020 fight against Joshua, but in reality, Fury, a lineal heavyweight champion, WBC title holder, has his focus centered on home. He says, quote, as a family, this has been good for us. We could take positives out of any negative situation because you can spend a lot of time with each other, more time than I would have been able to if the lockdown hadn't been on, Fury told ESPN. He goes on to say, we've done a lot of training workouts together and stuff. It's grown the family closer. And he's been going live and stuff. And says Fury put on a tremendous performance against Wilder, 7th round TKO victory. But within a month of that victory, boxing ground, it took a stand down, blah, blah, blah. The pandemic we all know about. And it says, provided Wilder agrees to step aside agreement. Now, this is where it gets a little clout chasey, in my opinion. And I've already made videos, so make sure you guys subscribe. Check out the latest and greatest in terms of content. They're making it, ESPN was really one of the first people on it, and they said that negotiations have started and this and that, and made it seem like Tyson Fury could opt to fight Anthony Joshua. I think it's cap. I don't think that will be next. One, we're in a pandemic, so that's the first order of business. We don't even know how boxing will come back. Two, we don't know the parameters in which boxing will come back. Crowd, no crowd, public social gatherings and large event gatherings. We don't know these things at the moment. So I think it's kind of premature to stage any fight. Wilder versus Fury 3 or Joshua versus Tyson Fury. That's one dilemma. In addition, Joshua was already scheduled to fight Kubrat Pulev that got pushed out the way because of the pandemic. Wilder has a contract, a rematch clause that he says he is triggering, and he would have to get out of the way either. Or in addition also is a better word, right? So Tyson Fury says, I'm not really positive, Fury said when asked who he preferred to fight next, because none of these fights are really relevant at the moment, are they? Because there's no boxing, there's no sport, nothing. Nothing's going on, so to talk about boxing or dream fights, you might as well fight fighters from the past because none of it is real anyway. He says, I'm not really interested in boxing right now because the most important thing is staying alive. There's been a lot of pandemics like this throughout history that have killed a lot of people. It's killed a lot of people already. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than boxing, bigger than sports. So when the world gets back right again, then we'll talk about entertaining the customers and the fans. It says, despite his observations about the current state of the sport, Fury still had his opinion regarding potential heavyweight opponents. Fury said he feels Wilder, regardless of the results of their second fight, is still more of a threat to him than Anthony Joshua. Quote, 100%. Joshua's not dangerous at all. He's like a big, cuddly baby, Fury said. Why would I be a believer when he got knocked spark out by Andy Ruiz, a last-minute replacement opponent who turned up 300 pounds or whatever it is, and he didn't train? And Anthony Joshua couldn't do any good with him in the rematch. He doesn't have anything. He couldn't hold a candle to the Gypsy King, Fury said. There's only one heavyweight out there. There's only one undefeated world champion. They've all fallen by the wayside. The fellow that hasn't gotten beat has knocked them out. I'm the only one. Oh, the fellow that hasn't gotten beat has knocked them out. I'm the only one. I don't know what he means about it because he hasn't fought Joshua, so I don't know how he knocked him out, but I guess he's trying to say that he's the only one that hasn't been knocked out. I'm not sure. I'm the only one. Me, the Gypsy King, unbeaten, the untouched, unbreakable champion, right? And then he says he's going to fight on till 40 years old. I've been thinking about it. There isn't much else to do anyway. So yeah, I may as well keep fighting on. I don't see anyone out there that could challenge me. I just flattened the best out there. The best one out there, the toughest opponent out there is Deontay Wilder. We all saw what happened to him last time. Boom. So he says that he still believes, despite the outcome, that Wilder was still more dangerous, is still more dangerous, and he's more formidable than Anthony Joshua. Huge, bold statement from Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, not one to mince his words. He's outspoken, says what he wants, and he paid Wilder a huge homage whilst slighting Anthony Joshua. I agree with him, actually. I think that Joshua, I'm not saying Joshua is a bum or, I don't talk like that and do all that extra, but I think that Wilder is still more dangerous because he has one punch power. If if he comes back in the rematch in the three trilogy, the third fight with Tyson Fury, and he comes back and focuses, right, then you have to be switched on because Wilder has the type of power where it don't matter what you're doing in there. Obviously, he had a lousy night versus Fury in the rematch, but he's still dangerous. Joshua, I understand why Tyson Fury is saying this also. It's because Joshua, the way he looked versus Andy Ruiz, he did what he had to do to win, and I've always stated this, to win and get a W back in the win column, that's better than losing, because obviously you could go back to the drawing board and you could figure things out and see where you went wrong or what you can sharpen up on. A loss is just worse for your image and your resume and stuff like that. So if you can help it, it's better to go and get an ugly win than a loss. So I get that. So I give props for Joshua in figuring that out. He at least did something that would work for him. He did something that would work out for him and give him the victory, which is ultimately what he needed to get his belts back. You can figure out the rest later. You can improve and those types of things. But I still think Wilder's more dangerous because you look at the trilogy with Tyson Fury, Wilder's not going to come and try to outbox a guy who just stopped him. A guy he said it was pillow fisted and, had a ugly night, a bad night against. He's not going to try to outbox him. He's not going to have like a running style. I can't see it happening. Joshua, he had to kind of go against his whole imagery to beat Andy Ruiz. He was billed by Eddie Hearns and, Anthony Joshua fans as a pure knockout artist, and he was running through guys. And then you had to see him fight a very timid fight, really hesitant to engage. So we don't really know if Joshua is fully mentally and physically repaired from the Ruiz fight. It just so happens that boxing, is about milliseconds, about little minute differences in training camp, things like that. Someone could have a slight injury, someone can have a bad camp, things like that, that can determine the outcome. We know for a fact that Andy Ruiz did himself a disservice and didn't show up in proper shape, ready to go, didn't listen to his team, didn't listen to his pops, didn't listen to the fans, and he kind of let himself down. But it's not really a good indication of a rematch. And this is not Joshua's fault. I'm not blaming Joshua. It's not his responsibility to make Andy Ruiz have discipline and train. But it doesn't omit the fact that we all watched Andy Ruiz come in almost 300 pounds, like Fury's saying, 283, 285, whatever he was weighing. And he looked like a shell of his former self. And we know why. There's videos of him eating pizza, folding in half and eating greasy pizza when he's supposed to be disciplined in training and stuff like that. And he was putting this on his vlog. So this is not something you can make up. So I still think Wilder, I agree with Fury. I think Wilder is still more dangerous because He has heart. He didn't quit. You know, his team threw in the towel, and he's a explosive, detonating puncher. He can already hurt Fury. We've seen that because he did it in the first fight, right? The second fight didn't go his way, but at the end of the day, you know, he's strong and he's strong-willed, and he's gonna come, I imagine, with the Fury. No pun intended. He's gonna come and try to ravish Fury and learn from his loss. Joshua, I keep saying it, I don't think Joshua has a true identity at the moment. I don't know what he is like as a fighter. Again, he was billed as a immense, powerful knockout artist, and now he had more of a running style, like a kind of a sloppy. He was like a poor man's Tyson Fury, the way he was boxing. He wasn't like all the way, like, you know, he's not like a Floyd Mayweather-esque type of boxer where it just looks like so sharp and he's doing what he wants and knows exactly what he wants to do. It looked like he had to think in there. And it looked like every time Ruiz was in somewhat of close quarters and Ruiz was gunning for Fury, or excuse me, for Joshua, and cornering him and tried to let his hands go, Joshua got clipped by a couple shots, and he looked like he didn't really respond well, and he looked like he was frantic when he did get hit. So he had to get right back to the game plan and right back on his bicycle. So I agree with Tyson Fury. I think Joshua has been more exposed than Tyson Fury. This is the thing with old media. This is why they continue to lose to new media, is because old media will praise Tyson Fury, say he's the best, and give him all the credit and say he's an all-time great heavyweight. And you know, Bob Arum just said Muhammad Ali would have trouble with Tyson Fury, and people have these high aspirations and opinions of Tyson Fury. So Wilder losing to Fury shouldn't be that shocking. Fury was bigger than Wilder, and Fury can box. Fury's experienced. Fury has an amateur pedigree, and Bob Arum let him tell it. He says Muhammad Ali, the great, rest in peace, the greatest, would struggle with him. So Wilder losing is not that bad, but Joshua supposed to fight Gerald Miller and then end up losing to a guy who had 5 weeks to train, who didn't look in great shape, much shorter, and things like that. When you're this buff diesel action figure, that looks worse, you know, no matter what. Tyson Fury knew Wilder can hurt him from this picture, you know, what happened in the first fight. So Tyson Fury, fair play to him. He came out with a better game plan. Plus, he has some Glovegate mysterious circumstances, we'll leave it at that, in his performances. But beyond that, he at least knew what to expect. Joshua was the front runner and clearly the ace eye versus Andy Ruiz, and he came up way short and really ended up quitting and was knocked out of it. Didn't want to do the rematch in America where Andy Ruiz, the new champion, wanted to do the fight. It just was a worse look to me, because there's no shame. We knew Wilder and Fury were the 1 and 2 guys. Someone had to lose. So you losing to that's like my San Francisco 49ers. We lost to the KC Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but we were the consensus best teams in the league. It is not that shameful to lose. If you lose to the Browns or something like that, or a team like New York Giants, then that's something different. You're losing to a team, you know, the Chargers or something, who aren't having a great season. That's different than losing to the KC Chiefs. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's so disrespectful what people are doing to Deontay Wilder and trying to write him off and act like he didn't do this scene that you see on the screen right now with Luis Ortiz, a great boxer who everyone else avoids except for Wilder, things like that. It's super disrespectful, because Wilder would be in the equation, the San Francisco 49ers. And he just lost to the KC Chiefs, another good team with a good stylistic mesh that gels well with his style for, you know, good fights. And the KC Chiefs had a good game plan. KC Chiefs went for it on 4th and 1 a couple of times, and that helped him. Those risky plays that they did, that's exactly what Tyson Fury did. He got with the Kronk gym, and he tried. I told you he would possibly try this kamikaze style, and he tried it, and it worked. That's literally what I called it, kamikaze, where he knows Wilder can knock him out, so he has to just bring it to Wilder and try to blitz him, and if he doesn't, then he just gets knocked out. But luckily for him, it caught Wilder off guard. Wilder might have slept on him. Wilder might not have thought that, you know, Tyson Fury could pull it off or was strong enough to pull it off, whatever. And that's why you don't underestimate anyone in the sport of boxing. And it wasn't Wilder's night. But, you know, big props to Wilder from Tyson Fury. He's basically said Wilder's a better fighter and more dangerous. And his own countryman is Anthony Joshua, and he's not paying him that homage. So another devastating blow to old media, because a lot of the guys from the UK, like fans from the UK, they have nothing but negative things to say about Deontay Wilder. And then somebody who sparred with Joshua and also fought Wilder twice, yet and still, despite how bad Wilder looked or whatever you want to say about the rematch, and, you know, some people even say, oh, Fury beat him both fights and Wilder only won 2 rounds, and, you know, saying all this crazy stuff. And guess what? Yet and still, this guy with more belts and a guy with Olympic gold, is Tyson Fury still views him as a lesser fighter than Deontay Wilder. Major blow to old media, because they keep saying Wilder's done and Wilder ain't this and Wilder ain't that, and, you know, Wilder sucks and stuff like that. But why is Tyson Fury still rating him above Joshua? He still sees Wilder as more dangerous. He still sees Wilder as more formidable. He still sees Wilder as a bigger and deeper threat in the heavyweight division to what he got going on. So that tells you a lot about Wilder. So I can't wait for the rematch, the trilogy. Don't think Joshua versus Fury will happen next. That's my opinion. Let me know what your opinion is in that comment section. Head over to Patreon. Hit the YouTube join button. I promise you, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling sharp. I'm feeling like Floyd Mayweather right now. And we working. Drop your thoughts in that comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.